Hey, welcome back to the channel. So today is a fixing a screw up day. So um, as you'll see on the screen, we have a puzzle that I tried to solve a couple of days ago. It's posted when I'm recording this, it posted today, and I was very quickly pointed out by one of the comments in the video that I had screwed up. So what I want to do to as not not belittle, that's not the right word, but not to screw up the awesomeness of this puzzle, is to come back in and actually do it correctly this time. And so what I've decided to do was I'm going to complete start over. I'm going to go back to the point. I'm going to kind of do the logic to go back to the point of where I screwed up, and then I'll try to take it from there to figure out the actual solution to this thing. Because what I ended up doing is I ended up guessing a certain digit at a certain place. It wasn't really a guess, but I had made a determination that was false. So I had said there was, some digits next to each other, but I'd left out a possible digit, and that other digit would have been a valid option. So, and because it happens so very close to the beginning, it seems like it completely invalidated, I guess, the solve. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back and redo the entire thing up and point out where I made my mistake, and then continue on. And I may or may not remove the other video. I'm not necessarily like removing videos, even if I do screw up, because I think there's good value in making the mistakes and learning from them and figuring out what you made, how you made a mistake, and then correcting it and making that work for you. So it's very possible that an old one will stay up, and I'll probably put some note in the title that says, hey, I screwed up big time, guys. Look at the other one if you want to see the actual solve. And then I'll put this one up alongside it or something like that. So anyway, that said, let's get back into this puzzle and let's try to figure this thing out correctly. And hopefully I can figure it out correctly. So this one is called, again, Yoga Studio. It's by Fractal Minding, and it's an excellent puzzle. I just didn't do good by it in the way that I solved it. So let's go through our rules pretty quickly, because we've done this previously. I don't want to drag it out too long, but so let's get into them. So that normal Sudoku rules apply. So every row, every column, every 3x3 box contain the digits 1 through 9 once each. Now we have each orthogonally adjacent digits are non-consecutive. So whatever this digit is, none of the digits or cells that are orthogonally connected to that one can be of a consecutive nature. So if this is a 1, none of these could be 2 per se. We also have digits along a green thermometer are strictly increasing from the bulb end. Thermometers must contain only even digits or only odd digits. Length of each thermo is 4. So now there's 3 parts to this. First off, it's our normal thermo. So this is a bulb. It continues out to wherever it continues out. This is the lowest digit, and it gets higher as it goes along the thermo. Now, the second part is that these thermos, whatever they are, each individual one either only contains even digits or odd digits. It does not say that they all contain even, or a certain amount of them contain evens, the other ones count odd. It's just that we have to figure out which ones are even thermos and which ones are odd thermos based on the information that's actually available. And then it also qualifies that each thermo is exactly 4 cells long. And then, of course, the last part of this is it's a fog of war puzzle. So as we guess, or not guess, as we deduce correct answers and not have and digits that we put in thinking they're correct, and it actually clears out the fog, we actually make a real understanding what the digit is, and it'll clear the surrounding fog so we can continue the puzzle properly. So that said, let's get back into this thing and do it the right way this time. First off, we have the thermos. It's the only thing we can see. So we're going to have to figure out what combination of thermos can occur. Now, there's a few different ways or options of how this could happen. You could have them, at least that's for these 3 specific ones that we can see at the moment. Now, we know that there is a bulb here because this is a 4 cell. There's nothing else it can be, because it points into this foggy place. So we can say definitely that this is a bulb of this thermo, and it continues like this. Same can be said here. We know this has to be the bulb because this creates a 4-cell thermo, which is what it has to be. And then this one, there has to be a tip here because that's where it shows to, and that's the last possible digit it can be. So we have 3 thermos. Some of them are odd, some of them are even, or it could be that they're all even or all odd. Well, the first thing that was done, that was, the easy way to look at it, can they all be even or all odd? And the answer would be clearly no, because if you put all of them as to one type, you have to put the other 4 other 3 or 4 digits in these only 2 cells, and that just doesn't ever work. So we know we have an instance where there's 2 of one type of thermo and 1 of another type of thermo, because we can't have them all be of one kind, so therefore there has to be a division of the 2, and the 2 and 1 is the only way to divide 3. Now, can we figure out how they're divided? Is it 2 odds and 1 even, or is it 2 evens and 1 odd? So the easy way to look at it would be to look at the evens. Is it possible that either or any of these 2 combined could possibly be even? If it was, we'd have, let's say this one was an even, 2, 4, 6, 8. Well, you can never put another even thermo if this is a 6, because we'd have 2, 4, 6 breaks, 2, 4, 6 that breaks. In this case, if we had 2, 4, 6, 8 as the even, again, we have 2, 4, 6, it breaks 2, 2, 4, 6, it would break. So in this one, we could do the exact same situation, 2, 4, 6, 8, and we'd always end up having multiple 6s in this region if we had 2 even thermotypes. So we know that we have 2 odds and we have 1 even. Now, how can we determine which ones are the odds? The first thing is we can look at just these 2 thermos by themselves. These cannot both be odd, because if they are, it'd be 1, 3, 5, 7, 9. What the heck do you put here? There's not enough odd digits, so this has to be an odd thermo. We can put that as orange. Orange is odd for me. And then we can label them as what the correct possibilities for the digits are. Since they have to be only the odd digits, they are either 1, 3 here, 3, 5, 5, 7, and 7, 9 are the only options as we move from the bulb to the tip. Now, the next part, and is where I messed up, is can we figure out which one of these is the even portion of, or the even thermometer? Now, my example that I went through, and I did so erroneously, was say, what if this was 2, 4, 6, 8? Could this ever be accurate? And this could be the odd. Well, what I did was I said, well, this could be 1, 3, this could be 5, 7, and you'll see the issue I made here. I skipped a step, and this was supposed to be where I got to the 5, 7. So when I saw this, I said, oh, this is either 5 or 7. It can't be either, because we have the orthogonally adjacent digits are non-consecutive. So if this was an even 6, which it would have to be if this was the even thermo, this odd one could never exist, and that would break the puzzle. That is the error that I made. So I called this having to be, this one had to be even, when that was not the case. Now that we are back to essentially square one, let's go through this thing and see if I can do it the proper way. And how would I even go about doing that? Well, I was looking back at the video and trying to figure out how I might do it. And I think we end up having a situation where we get some, no matter where we put odds, the odd or the even thermos, it creates a situation up in here. So I'm going to look at that, and this will be the starting off point. So let's say this was the even thermo. It would have to be this way. This could be 1, 3, 3, 5, 5, 7, and 7, 9. Now, you'll see we have a 5, 7 pair here. So this would have to be 3 and 9. This 4 would say this is not 5 because of their being, they'd be next to each other, so they can't be consecutive. And that would make this be a 5 and a 3 and a 1. and then this would be a 9. So what we end up with in the situation where this is the even thermo, we end up with a 1, 3, 5, 9 over here. Let's remember that. Now, what if this was the even 8? We end up with, this would be 1, 3, 3, 5, 5, 7, and 7, 9. Again, we end up with a 5, 7 here. This would have to be a 3. This would have to be a 1. This 4 would rule out this from being a 5, so therefore it's 7. That forces this to be 5, which forces this to be 3, which forces this to be 1. See anything familiar? These are the only possibilities up here, and either way we go about it. So, without actually determining which one of these two is which, we can say that this must be a 5, this must be a 3, and this must be a 1. Okay, so now we are into new territory. And let's just go from there. We now know we've got some other thermos going on. So can we ever make this an odd thermo? 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, no. This has to be even, because we'd have too many odds in this region. So this is 2, 4, 6, and 8. And further from that, what can we say? We know we have to have a 1 in this region. This one can't be 1, so this must be 1. We also have to have it has to be from 5, 7, and 9. We can't rule out any of those options, I don't think, at the moment. So we'll have to move on. Now we've got 2 1s looking in here, and this one can't be a 1 because it's next to a 2. So one of these is a 1. I guess we can also say there has to be a 5 in one of these. So none of these could be 5s, but again, that's not super useful, is it? And let's see. Now that we've gotten to this stage. Okay, so now we know this can't be the even thermo, because we would have 2, 4, 6, 8. And the 4 would line up with this 4. So that then puts us, this has to be the even thermo. And this is actually exactly where we get back to where I had the other, what I had incorrectly deduced that this must be the even one because of what I had done over here. So it really is just 2, 4, 6, 8 like this, because this could never be 2, 4, 6, 8. Now, I'm just going to continue on with this, even though the rest of this solution is probably going to be very similar to what I had previously done, but I want to do this in its entirety so that there is one full video of me doing this right. So if this is 8, this can't be 7 or 9, so that's a 5. Let's get rid of those. And I could probably get rid of this coloring, but I'm going to leave it there for a second. So we know this is now the other odd thermo. So this is either a 1 or a 3 here. So it has to be a 1. This is either a 3 or a 5. It can't be a 5, so it's a 3. This is either a 5 or a 7. It can't be a 4, so therefore it's a 7, and then therefore this has to be a 9. And that 7 here gives us a 9 and a 7. So what do we have left here in this region? We have to be able to put a 2 in, so it has to go there, and we have to put a 9 here. Now we can put in what these guys are. They're 2, 4, and 7. These are from 5, 8, and 9. Excuse me, this is not 9. And these are from 1, 3, and 6. Okay, we only have a 6 not being there. Okay, now let's look at, we don't know, well, let's look down here. So we know we have 4 cells of this thermo down here. It cannot be an even thermo, because even, we don't know where the tip or the bulb is, but we know that if it's even, it has to be 2, 4, 6, 8 or 2, 4, 6, 8, and both of those break. So this has to be an odd thermo. So it has to have from 1, 3, 5, 7, and 9. This can't be 3, 7, or 9. This can't be 1 or 9 here. This can't be 5. Now, we should be able to make another determination in here, like this clearly can't be 9. And we can't have any of these be 9, so one of these must be a 9. But that doesn't really give me tons of info either, does it? What else can we say? Now, I did make another mistake, and it wasn't a mistake that caused any issues, but it was a marking mistake when I was looking at this column previously. But it was just, I just marked something incorrectly or thought about something correctly, but it never came into the solution. So what I'm trying to say is, what can we remove from these things? So this is either 1, 3, 5, 3, 7, 5, 7, whatever it may be, and then a 7 or a 9 out here, or it's a 1, 3, 5, 3, 7, 5, 7. Well, this could never be a 1, because you'd have to do 3, 5, or any combination of those two, and then go into a digit that's lower than what you've already put in there. So this is not 1. And this can't be 3 either, because it's the same reasoning. If this was 3, this would be 5, 7, and you got nothing there. So we know the bulb actually now has to be over here, which means this has to be 1. This can never be 3. This can never be 7. So we end up with our 3, 5, 5, 7, 7, 9 possibilities. And is there anything we have left now that we can kind of put in here? We have to put an 8 somewhere, so that's what I was looking at. You see one of these two, but there's nothing there that removes those. 4 can't go here or here. Well, it couldn't go here because of that, but it can't go here because it'd be next to that, so it'd be one of these two. The 6 is the other one. 6 can't go here, can't go here, so it'd have to be one of these two, but that's not giving me any further info either. Okay. So maybe there's something further now that we can look up in here. So we know this is the tip of either an odd or an even thermo. If it was an even thermo, it'd be 8, 6, 4, and then wherever the 2 is would be wherever it is, but this can't be a 4. So again, we have an odd thermo. So it has to be 9, 7, 7, 5. Let's not screw this up. 5, 3, and then one of these two is a 1 or a 3 combo. Now we could already just tell it's not there, but let's go through some more obvious Sudoku. We have a 3, 5 pair here. So we're forcing this now to be 7, this to be 9, this to be 9. And these two digits now must be from 2 and, 2 and 8. And this can't ever be a 2. So we can put our 2 up here, our 8 down here, and then now we see what we would have been able to prove if we just used Sudoku over here. This could not be the 1 or the 3. So this has to be the 1 or the 3. Now the 2 here is removing this from being a 3, so this has to be 5, this has to be 3, and the 5 then says this is a 7. And we should be able to continue from there. Let's look back at these digits again. We needed the 4, which has to be one of those two. We needed the 5, which has to go here because we have a 5, so we can see the 5 here. These have to be from 4 and 6, and this can't be 6, so 4 and 6. And therefore, these two left over in this column are 1 and 3. This can't be 1, so 3 and 1. Now, these digits here we can take a look at too, because they have to be from 4, 6, and 8. This can't be 4 or 6 because it's next to a 5, so it's 8. These are not 8s. Alrighty, so we've moved through this pretty quickly and have done it in a way that's not erroneous, which is always a good thing. Where can we now move on to? Because we're out of all of our thermos, so we need to start looking at our negative constraints of the orthogonally adjacent digits and basic Sudoku, I believe. So we end up, okay, so we have a 1 here looking here, so we can just put a 1 here. That clears up a big old space. We know one of these has to be 1. And what else do we know? Not quite much else on those ones. So let's put the 2 here. And no, that doesn't do anything. 3s. I don't see how those are doing. Maybe we just want to stick with 2s, because none of these can be 2s. So therefore one of these must be a 2. These can't be, obviously, because of just basic Sudoku, and we can't have the consecutives. So none of these are 2s. There has to be a 2 in one of these. Okay. What next? Say, is there any... Okay, so in this column now, where does the 2 go? Can't go here because it would be consecutive with a 1. It can't go here because it would see a 2 and be consecutive with 1. So it has to be in this column. We just said only one of these 2 in this region can be 2, so therefore this has to be that 2. And then can we do something similar with 4s? Not necessarily. We just know this one can't be 4. The 6s, these 2 can't be 6s, but these could be. The 8 is the next one. Okay, so 8s is what it is. This can't be 8 by Sudoku. This can't be 8 by consecutive. None of these are 8. This can't be 8. This can't be 8 because of consecutive. So 8. And did that? No, that filled in a spot we had already kind of known about. So I know one of these is 9. The other 2, like I said, were 4 and 6. And we don't have anything we can specifically say about those at the moment now. Okay. So let's move on to either a different row or a different column. Let's look at this row. It's pretty filled up. We already know there's a 1 over here somewhere. We have to have a 3 somewhere. But I can't rule it out. Well, maybe we just look at the 3s for a second, because none of these can be 3s. Let's put those in. One of these must be a 3. Is there anything else looking into here that's all that helpful? Doesn't really seem like it. Okay, let's go back on our little Sudoku journey. Not really seeing anything there. And there. One of these 2 must be a 6. No, 7s. One of these 3 would be a 7. None of these could be 7s. That can't be a 7. Okay, so on the 7s, we know that by Sudoku, none of those could be this one. This one can't be by adjacency, so one of these is a 7. So none of these could be 7, so one of these is. And let's continue on, looking at our 8s. One of these has to be an 8. 8s can't go in any here. This can't be an 8, so one of these is an 8. And then 9 is what's left over. Okay, so we're going to get a 9, because none of those could be 9s. So this is 9. And that didn't quite give us enough to work anything else out. So we're going to go back to probably our negative constraints. In either rows or columns or regions, that sort of thing. So we need a 3 in here, it can go anywhere. We need a 4 in there, it can go anywhere. The 5, again, looks like it can go anywhere. And it's the 7s as well. So that one doesn't do me any good. What's left, I guess, in this? I think I already looked at this, didn't I? Yeah, I did already. How about in these guys? Okay, 7 in this column is a good one. 7s can't be in any of these, so it's going to have to be in one of these 3. We already said there's a 7 up here somewhere. So therefore, this is the 7. And that's going to give us this 3. We can get rid of those. Now we are down to our final 2 digits of this column, which are 5 and 6. And those are not figured out just yet. So, okay, there must be another column or row that we can now look at. And where would that be? Well, 2s, I mean, 2s are still not quite right, because there are some multiple options for them. 4s, again, there's really nothing there. 5 and 6, we already, well, 6s. One of these must be a 6. 5s. We can't quite rule out enough for the 5s either. Okay. All right, so not sure where I had gone the last time to figure this part of it out, but there must be something here. So I'm going to scan a little bit and try to figure it out. Is there something in here? Okay, so here, yes, I didn't even see this, and I should have seen this right off the bat, and I probably did in my last solve. It's kind of funny how you can do an entire solve, figure out all this stuff, and then come back to it a couple days later and just not see something. This can't be an 8 or a 9, because if it was, you'd instantly have an 8 or a 9 next to it. So this must be 5 to separate the two, which means this is 8, this is 9. That 5 rules this out from being a 6, so there, and this one from being a 4, but we get a 1, 3, so we can put a 6 here, and that does clear a little bit more fog. This can't be a 7 due to the 8. And there we are. Okay, there's a little something. Now we don't have anything else we can do that I can see on these guys at the moment. How about 5s in this section or region? None of these can be 5s, and that can't be a 5, so one of these must be, which removes 5 from all of these, which means one of these two is a 5. Is there anything else I can say that has to go in here? I don't know that that's true, or that I can, not that it's true. All right. And do. All right, let's go back and look at our Sudoku, because we have added some digits, and maybe that will give us something back. And not with the 1s, it seems. What about the 2s? No, I don't see anything there. How about the 3s? Again, it's one of these. What about 4? Let's look at 4, sorry. This can't be 4, because it would be between 2 3s. So we can rule out those. Shoot. I thought we'd be able to have it here, but 4 could still easily go in either one of these. What about the 7 in here? Can't go there. So one of these is 7. Then the 5s and the 6s, we said, well, the 6 might now be a little bit reduced as to where it can go. Yeah, so we can't have 6s in these locations, but we can't rule that one out, can we? Or we can rule that one out. No, that didn't quite work either, because we can have a 6 in one of these two. And as we said, we could have a 4 in a few situations, these two. 6, 7s, 8s, and 9s. Okay, so I don't think we can do anything more in that corner at the moment. Which is a shame, because I thought we were getting somewhere there, but that's okay. We still have plenty to solve here. What did I get up to? I can't even remember now. 5s, maybe? Something like that? We said 5 was down there somewhere. 5s cannot be next to either a 4 or 6, so none of these are 5s. Okay, there we go. This must be a 5 here, which rules this out, which puts this in. And was there anything else that does? Not necessarily. Okay. Let's go back into it then. 6s. Like we said, one of these has to be a 6. one of these, okay, 6s is what it was. None of these can be 6s because of the adjacency on that. So this is ending up being the 6, and this is the 5. We can get rid of those notations, and that does finish our column. So that 6 then finishes our 4 and our 6. And let's get this column maybe. I think is there anything still left we can do here? I know we checked it a couple of times. I'm still looking to get a 4 in here somewhere. It's either one of these two. I'm still looking to get a 6 in here. Can't be any of these, so this is 6. And therefore the 4 must get up here. This must be 9. And that puts in these 3 as 2, 5, and 8. This can't be 5. This can't be 2. This can't be 5 or 8, so it is 2. And therefore this is 8 and 5. That 5 gives me this 5. We can get rid of this. That 5 rules out this as a 4, so therefore this is the 4. And we go down here now, we get 3, 4, and 7. And let's put those in and rule out the thing. This can't be 4 or 7, so that's 3. These can't be 3 anymore. This can't be a 4 because it'd be consecutive with a 3, so it's 7 and 4. And that's going to give us that entire side. Now we know what these two have to be. They are 3 and 7. And surprisingly, that does not do much. Let's look at this guy because we got it down to, well, let's look at this guy because we got it down to 2. It has to be 1 and 6. We have a 6 here, so 1 and 6. 1 can't be next to a 2. Was there anything else in here? No. Okay, so let's get back on this guy, which is 2, 4, and 8. This can't be 4 or 8, so we get our 2. These can't be 2s. Let's get rid of our marks so that they are not in our way. There's nothing there we can finalize, so let's go up here now because we've had a nice reduction in what we can get. We need to have a 2 and a 7, so there's a 2 here. Yes, so let's do that. 7, 2, 7, 2. That's going to give us our 3 and our 7, and that's going to give us our 4 and our 8 because of consecutiveness, and our 1 and our 3. And now we're just at the finish line. So this has to be 1 and 6. We've got 6s and 1s looking in here, so we'll put our 1, put our 6. This one we need to have 4 and 9. We have 4 and 9 looking at it, so this is 9, this is 4. And then we get into this one, which has to have a 3 here, deet, deet, doot in the corner. And this is therefore an 8. And that is the actual solve. So I think since I was able to get this done, I'm probably, like I said, definitely going to upload this one as a repentance, if you will, of the poor job that I did in the last one. And I'm still not 100% sure if how I'm going to handle that other video, other than it's going to at least be noted that it had a boo-boo in it. So anyway, I hope you all found this one much more enlightening than the last one because it was done correctly, and I hope you still enjoyed this this puzzle because it was a beautiful puzzle. It was my fault for messing it up. Obviously, no ill will towards the creator, Fractal Minding, or so I hope this was a good, not apology, because like I said, I don't want to apologize for mistakes I make, but it'll clear up the confusion that I created. So anyway, hope you all enjoyed this, at least do as much as you could with all the apologies, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Thanks for watching. I really do appreciate it, and I love when you tell me when I screw up because it allows me to go back and figure things out that I didn't do correctly the first time. So thanks all to that. I'll see you in the next one. Thank you.